How do you calculate the damages that you're entitled to if you've been terminated from a contract? I'm going to tell you. Let's get started. Hi, my name is Alex Barthet with thelienzone.com. Today I'm going to answer a question that a client called me with just yesterday, and his question was, Alex, I've been terminated from a construction contract improperly. It wasn't my fault. How much am I entitled to get? How much can I lien for? If I want to sue to collect my money, how much do I put in the complaint? So here's what I told him. If you are terminated from a construction contract, you are entitled to what are called your lost profit damages for the incomplete portion of the work that you've done. Plus, usually you're entitled to all of the work that you've done, work and materials that you've done up to that point that you haven't been paid for. So let's take a simple example. You have a $100,000 construction contract. You're halfway through, you're at $50,000 worth of work. They owe you $10,000 for the work that you've done but haven't been paid for yet, and then you get terminated. Now you have $50,000 of work not yet completed, and the question is, if you are terminated improperly, what are you entitled to? So you're entitled to the $10,000 for the work and materials that you've already provided and haven't been paid for. And then on the $50,000 worth of incomplete work, you're not entitled to $50,000 because if you were to get paid that $50,000, you would have costs for labor, materials, insurance, overhead, none of which you have to spend if you're terminated. So what you're entitled to is the lost profits. So let's assume that your profits on an average job are 8%, 10%, 20%. That it's that percentage of the incomplete portion of the work plus what you've done that hasn't been paid. Now, there are two things to keep in mind when calculating these kinds of damages. Number one, that portion of the lost profits, not lienable. You cannot lien for that portion of the work that is not complete that represents your lost profits. Number two, you need to look at your construction contract. Ideally, you've read it already, you've negotiated it, but there are clients of ours that sometimes first time they open that contract is when they have a problem. You may have signed a contract that has what's called a termination for convenience provision in it. And if so, that provision says something like, if you are terminated for no reason at all, which is permissible, all you're entitled to are the following. And every contract's a little different, and it will lay out what you are entitled to and only that which you are entitled to. And many times, those contracts, if they come from a sophisticated owner or contractor, they remove your right to lost profits on incomplete work. So that means that 10, 15, 20% of the amount that for the work that you haven't done on that $50,000 in my example, you would not be entitled to it. All you would be entitled to is the $10,000 for the work that you did but weren't paid for. So read your contract, see what it says. Ideally, use this as a learning example so that you read your contract in advance so that you can strike those provisions the next time this type of contract comes across your desk. If you have questions about breach of contract damages, liens, or bonds, go to thelienzone.com. You can also send me an email, alex@barthet.com. Make sure to check us out on Twitter @thelienzone. See you next time.